Hello everyone, this is Patrick from Harco & Co. Today we are again with the White Shepherd Fynja. Based on the outcome of the look at that game, we did another pattern game from Leslie McDevitt with her, which is the Superbowls. Superbowls basically works like this, that you place different balls at different distances to a given trigger. You take your dog to the first ball. Dog looks at you, you put a treat in the ball, the dog looks back at you, which is for you, the okay to move to the next ball. Basically the dog telling you the distance is still okay, to the next trigger. So you go to the second ball, same procedure, and so forth, until the dog either doesn't look at you anymore or the dog doesn't want to move and just stands, basically with a given ball. So, how this worked with Fynja and what the surprising outcome was, that's what we're going to show you now. So here we are now with Fynja at the Superbowls pattern game. So she's checking out all the different balls. Then she's called back by the owner and we're going to start the game. We put a treat in the first ball. She orients to the owner, to the trigger, back to the owner, and we go to the next ball. So then here, the same again, treat in the ball. She orients owner, the trigger, back to the owner, we go to the next ball. And here, Fynja decides to just lay down. She orients, very nicely to the owner goes to the next ball, but Fynja decides, I'm not going to follow. This is not a safe distance for me, to the trigger. Her orientation is okay, but you can see that even, with putting a treat in the next ball, she is not willing, basically, to move. So she learned from her first experience, when she got that close to the fence, and she actually reacted. Now the trigger moves away further. That's where she says, okay, that's a safe space for me. So I'm gonna get my treat. I reorient back to my, to my owner. I think this was a very impressive learning and also communication from Fynja's side on how to handle herself in a situation, even though she was still able basically to orient to the trigger and back to the owner without showing a real reaction towards the trigger. So that's what I'm explaining here to the owner. And what we decided then is actually to redo the same game to see if we could actually reproduce the reaction that Fynja has shown us in the first run. So here we go. So the trigger moves back to the fence. So we have the same starting situation. So Fynja moves into the first ball, gets the treat, orients back to the owner. Quick look to the trigger, back to the owner, second ball, then the treat, she orients to the owner, we go to the next ball, and the same behavior, she lies down, she orients back to the owner, look to the trigger, back to the owner, and the owner moves to the last ball, but Fynja, says, no, I'm not gonna move, this is not a safe space, for me from the trigger. So the trigger moves back, she orients, we give her the treat in the ball, and she stands up and gets the treat. So again, same result as within the first run. So then we resolved the situation for Fynja, and she actually met her trigger, and you can see the friendly hello that she is giving the trigger. What's maybe important to know is that they know each other quite well in real life, but you can see how important it is for dogs to be able to read the body language.